Welcome to Instruction Discussion, our weekly look at the latest topics and trends in education affecting schools here on Long Island and schools around the world. Whether you're a teacher, parent, or student, listen for tips and strategies to help you navigate the educational landscape. There's a bell. It's time to start today's Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, I'm Kevin Boston Hill, and welcome to Instruction Discussion, where each week we will examine a recent trend or development in education and its impact on Long Island. When employees were surveyed about why they leave their places of employment, it may surprise you that the top reason is not money. Answers that typically appear ahead of money are opportunities for advancement, educational opportunities, or professional learning, and more recently, a better work-life balance. In fact, a recent Gallup Amazon study found that 70% of workers interested in upskilling say they would switch to a new job if offered free skills training. What's more, young adults entering the labor market even rate employer-funded upskilling as more important than paid vacation time. It is clear that people want the extra education and they want their jobs to provide it. While many employees have turned to learning apps like Coursera, Udemy, or even YouTube for their professional learning needs, most people would prefer the traditional methods of learning, attending an accredited institution. Recognizing this need, companies have begun partnering with educational institutions to provide learning opportunities for their employees. National University has been selected to serve as the national education provider for the Amazon Career Choice Program, which provides Amazon's hourly associates with access to tuition-free college courses, skills training, and industry certifications to help them advance in their careers. Employees throughout the United States are provided with online courses and on-site classes at some of the company's fulfillment centers, with tuition fully funded through the program, and they will be paired with an academic advisor throughout the experience, along with career counseling and job placement services. Today, we welcome Dr. Michael Cunningham, Chancellor of the National University System, to discuss the Amazon Career Choice Program and how this program, as well as other educational opportunities, can benefit workers who are looking to advance their careers. Dr. Cunningham, welcome to Instruction Discussion on 90.3 WHPC.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for having me, and really excited about this, and that I'm a Long Islander. I was born in Astoria and grew up in Bayshore, so it's good to be home again, if you will.
Well, it's wonderful to have you back, and I understand that you did some of your educational training in New York as well as NYU. And you taught at NYU as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was exciting. You know, I'm a lifelong learner, and that's what we're talking about today is lifelong learners. And basically I was running my business out of Jersey City, New Jersey. It was a printing business, and we grew it to around 60 million in sales. But I hit a little bit of a ceiling there. And I went back to school to get my master's at NYU. It was in graphic communications, management, and technology. I was a printer. And through that educational experience, I was able to write a thesis on international business and partnerships through the use of technology. There was a paradigm shift going on from analog to digital, and it really helped me change my life. So much so, I used that research to write a prospectus and take my company public. And by the time I sold it to Automatic Data Processing, ADP, it was over $200 million in revenue and 2,000 employees. So education has had a really big part of my life, been a big part. And so much so, after I retired at 40, I decided to go back to NYU and get my PhD so that I could teach at university and pass that along and pay it forward for next generation.
Okay. You buried the lead a little bit there. Did I hear you correctly that you said you retired at 40?
Yeah, from my first career. And, research shows, by the way, early baby boomers are going to change jobs 12 times and careers 3 times. And then younger folks are going to do that much more often. If you think about it, when we're living to 80, 90, 100 years, we're going to change jobs 20, 30 times in our lifetime. And many times we'll change jobs to jobs that don't even exist yet today. So that's where education comes in. How do we upskill? How do we grant degrees, credentials, certificates for jobs of the future? As Gretzky talks about when he's talking about his hockey prowess, he would skate to where the puck will be, not where it is today. And I think in education, that's what we have to do to better society and make sure that we're where we need to be, and that is in the future, not just today.
That is a really good analogy. And in order to keep moving forward, you have to look ahead, right? You have to go to where the puck is going to be, because if you stay where it is, the defense collapses on top of you. But if you go to where you want it to be, now you are ahead of the game, and you can experience some success that way. So how did the career choice program at Amazon really get its start? What was the original intent of the program?
Okay, well, if you think about it, Amazon is facing the same dilemma and problems that most organizations are facing today. And that is, how do you answer this question? How do you attract, retain, promote, and upskill the best talent that's available for your organization? And there's a lot of choices that people have these days. So Amazon recognized that, and they said, you know what? We realize that the majority of our employees aren't going to stay with us for the rest of their lives. And what I'm calling a career handoff. Amazon recognizes that and says, let's put our employees in a place so that when they leave to a place that will bring them to a better position in life and a better station in life. So that's what they're committed to. And because of that, they're getting great talent coming through the doors. And with this Amazon Choice program, research is showing, and this was done by Dr. Chris Graham at City University of Seattle. He happens to run our Workforce Education Solutions division, that employees that take advantage of an employer education opportunity or ed benefit, they perform better on the job, they stay longer, and their organization likiness and their well-being, total whole person well-being, and their self-efficacy goes up. And that's a win-win-win situation if I've ever seen one. And that's why they're doing it. It's of course they want the best talent, and they want them to stay as long as they can. But they recognize the future, and they're meeting the employees where they need to be met.
I guess what's really intriguing about this program is they understand people are transient in their employment, that they come and go. They're training them with the knowledge that employees can very well leave with that training, and it may not benefit their company. But they're banking on the idea that with the extra education, the employees may want to stay, but knowing full well that they may take advantage and take that knowledge and leave anyway.
Exactly. And, there's an old adage, Kevin, that is very interesting. And they say, what's the only worse thing than training an employee and having them leave? It's not training the employee and having them stay. So yes. It's really a win-win for the employee. And if you think about it, why we're in it at National University, and we'll get into that in a little bit, and what we do so well. But the reason that I'm doing this and the folks is a nonprofit private university, why we're doing this, if you think about the benefits of education, and if you educate a learner, and they get a degree or a credential certificate, you're changing the trajectory of that person's life and that person's family life forever. And, if you get a bachelor's degree, you're going to make $900,000 on average to $1.4 million more than not having that degree. A master's degree, you're going to be making $2.4 million more in your lifetime than a high school graduate. And then if you think about, if you do that at scale for a lot of people, like Amazon we're talking about, they want to educate 750,000 of their hourly associates, then you change society for the better forever. So at scale, education is so powerful. And that's what made this country one of the best countries in the world, if not the best. It was through education, post-secondary education, K through 12 education. And the more we can do that, the better we do it, the better we'll be as a society. Let me ask you this. To your knowledge, is this the only program of its kind in the country as far as how companies are willing to take the chance of people leaving with the training and partnerships with educational institutions? No. And that's the good news, that there's many corporations that are very forward-thinking, that are doing programs like this, some fully paid, some partially paid. Most organizations that are forward-thinking are offering $5,250, and that's what the government allows for tax-free employer contribution for their training and educating of their employees. So there are a lot of good organizations, and we have a lot of corporate partners around the country. Many hospitals are looking for this type of training, and we're supplying that. Defense companies, manufacturing companies, tech companies, we're providing this benefit for a lot of them. So that's the good news. I think there's a lot more room for other organizations to get involved with this type of not only education but advising. At National University, we supply our students with one-on-one counseling, even though the courses are asynchronous online courses, so you can take the courses anytime, any place in the country and the world. But our counseling, whether it's career counseling, academic counseling, financial aid counseling, we have one-on-one services both on texting, chatting, phone, Zoom, however this in person, however the student wants to liaise with our advisors, it's available.
Let's talk a little bit about just why it is important for companies and schools to partner together to invest in employee education.
Well, if you think about it, right, many of the jobs that will be there tomorrow don't exist right now. And you couple that with people living a lot longer. You know, Michelle Weiss, Dr. Michelle Weiss, she works with us and heads our innovation and strategy area. She was out of Harvard and Stanford. And she did a seminal book on the relationship between post-secondary education and employment in the workforce. And the stats were, staggering in that with people living to 100 years old, people that are born today will live to 100 years old on average. They'll change jobs over 20, 30 times. Many of the jobs involve artificial intelligence, machine learning, different new programs, common platforms, anything you can think about. And the education is so important because we have to learn those new skills and that new education. And the key thing with national and universities such as ours is many times we'll go into industry and see what is the cutting edge, next gen type of employment that will be needed in the future. And they help us develop the curriculum for that next gen job, next gen career. Traditionally, I used to work with other public universities, and it's a long time getting into the catalog, 3 years. So in this day and age, to get into a catalog with a new program, if it takes 3 years, it's already some of the offerings are already antiquated by the time they get offered to students. At National, we're getting in the catalog in 3 months. So we're dealing with organizations, high-tech organizations, hospitals, I said, educational organizations that say, you know what, this is what is needed now and in the future in this specific career space and this sector, and we're meeting that need.
Aside from the partnership that National University has with Amazon, who are some of the other companies and partnerships National has, and how can people find out more about National University? Okay. Well,
Rady's Children's Hospital based in San Diego is one, and many of the other Sharp Hospital, a lot of the San Diego hospitals, we do a lot of work with. And a lot of what we do is customized work that can be scalable. And what does that mean? I'll give you one example. As we know, suicide rates and issues with young people today is on the rise. And hospitals such as Rady's Children's recognize that. And so, but they came to us and they said, Mike, can you develop a behavioral health program, a short form certificate program that all our employees can take, and we'll pay for it. They went out and they got a great benefactor to support this work so that their employees, from the volunteer that's sitting at the front desk to the security guard to the maintenance person to nurses to doctors, they go through this short form 6-week course that trains them on what to look out for behavioral health wise in families and patients that come through their hospital, and recognize problems before they're even problems. So you might come into the hospital with a physical problem, but there might be emotional issues. There might be psychological issues that unless they are noticed, they go unchecked and they manifest into some significant problems later on in life. That is just one instance of how we work with organizations, and it's been a huge success. Over 2,500 employees went through the program within the first year. and they're recognizing and pointing out issues before they even become issues. So that's just one of the things that we're doing. Cybersecurity, we're working with a major defense firm right now on looking at next generation cybersecurity type of applications and how people can get trained in the future level of cybersecurity. And it's not a question of if, it's a question of when organizations are going to get hacked. How do they prevent it? How do they handle it when it happens? That's cutting edge stuff, and that's what we do. You are listening to Instruction Discussion on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Kevin Boston Hill, and our guest today is Dr. Michael Cunningham, Chancellor of the National University System. Now, that, of course, that all sounds tremendous, especially the fact that you tailor a particular course of study for what the institution needs. So is there a model, or does the amount of money change per group as far as what the employee has to pay to get into the program? See, at Amazon, the employee gets the training for free. So is that the norm, or is there some kind of modest stipend that they may have to pay? I think it runs the gamut, Kevin. I think, and it's a partnership and a commitment and an investment by all parties involved. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the relationship that we have, we felt so positive about this opportunity. We made a very good arrangement with Amazon to reduce our cost of tuition so that actually met what they were willing to pay to educate their employees. So we invested, Amazon's investing, and most importantly, the learner is investing, because this is an investment of time, effort, and resources on the employee and the learner's part, in that there's no free lunch. It's not just because someone's paying for it doesn't mean you don't have to do the work. And that's the exciting part, that doing the work, learning these new skills, these new educational things is very, very important. So many organizations will lean in and will pay all or part of the tuition. And depending on household income, if household income less than $70,000 a year, pretty much with National, you're probably going to go to school pretty much for free or very close to it, because you can factor in financial aid for that. You have FAFSA and you have Cal Grants and you have Pell Grants and other opportunities. Plus, at National, last year alone, we gave away over $70 million worth of scholarships due to some great benefactors that we have that are investing in society through student education. That's amazing. Now, does National also offer bachelor degree programs, or is it just certificate programs? No. Our mainstay is baccalaureate, master's, and doctoral programs through the National University System and our affiliates, and that is North Central University, City University, and National University. We have over 22 doctoral programs, market-relevant, professional doctoral programs. We have over 30 master's level programs ranging from teacher education, special education masters, law, psychology, business, you name it, we pretty much very comprehensive. And on undergraduate, from an associate level degree and a baccalaureate degree, we have given over 200,000 baccalaureate degrees, over 70,000 graduate degrees over the 50-year lifetime of the National University and the system. Going back to the partnership with Amazon, what can the employee do with a certificate they receive from going through a particular program? Can they use that for a college credit if they wanted to enroll in a degree-bearing program? Or are they locked into what they can do with that certificate based on the employer who gave it to them? Yeah, they're not locked in at all. And exciting, it's the way that we build our courses, number one. We have unbundled our courses into learning modules. And those learning modules are stackable, and those courses are stackable into degrees, into courses, into programs, into degrees. So we can mix and match with students and saying, what are they interested in? What do they need for their advancement? And they can all stack on, for the most part, we have regional accreditation, which is top accreditation, and it stacks into that degree. So that's really exciting. So you're not limited to a credential. The other thing is we really recognize and appreciate prior learning. Whether that's at other community college learning. We're in California, we're the #1 transfer university for California community colleges in the state. over 11% of teachers in California go through National University for their credential and or undergraduate or master's degree in education. So we're used to doing that, and on Long Island, we would love to partner with a lot of the community colleges there and partners there. The other thing is what we're working on is the blockchain. So in the future, you'll see badges, certificates, credentials that will be all part of the blockchain that employers will recognize, and we're working towards that. So it will be a currency, your educational currency, if you will, towards getting jobs, better jobs, and career-specific jobs that match your capabilities.
I know that you served as the dean at the College of Business Administration at San Diego State University, with a huge emphasis on entrepreneurship courses. How important do you feel that taking those types of courses is in today's academic environment?
I think it's huge. And a lot of organizations get nervous when their employees take entrepreneur courses because they think they're going to leave and start a job, which is not a bad thing. It's probably a good thing. But I used to teach a course called Entrepreneurial Thinking. And if you can think entrepreneurially and see how do you satisfy society's needs and future needs through innovative type of solutions, that's what entrepreneurial thinking is all about. So you can apply that not only in a corporate environment, but also in an educational environment. Schools today, we just did a huge program with New York City schools called the Harmony Program. And it's a social emotional learning program for K through sixth graders. We developed a program to make sure that families and students and teachers really put social emotional learning at the fore of education, because you got to be in it to win it. And studies show through programs such as that, school liking went up, test grades went up, bullying went down. So that's entrepreneurial thinking in the academic environment, and that's what we're all about.
During your time at NYU, when you had your own business, were you also thinking about these types of partnerships at that point, as far as how you could upskill your employees and how you can get educational and corporate institutions together?
Kevin, I'm really impressed by this question because no one's really asked me that before, and it is spot on. It was one of the secrets of Cunningham Graphics International, which was the name of the company that I had based out of Jersey, and that was finding the great talent. Remember, at that time, there was a paradigm shift going on from analog to digital. A lot of people didn't know about what digital meant and what the impact it was going to have on society. Now we look back and it's like huge, of course, but we're talking mid-1990s, that early 1990s. A lot of people didn't know where that was going. So at NYU, when I was there in that program, the Graphic Communications Management Technology program, I was with cutting-edge professors from industry in the digital field, as well as around students that were also in that field, learning the latest and greatest technologies. Well, no surprise that we wound up hiring many of the fellow students that I was in classes with at NYU. And that was the secret to our success. We had the best talent that was market relevant, and they were going into the digital area and getting out of that analog stage. And that allowed us to actually develop international relationships through strategic partnering through the use of technology. That's why I got involved in education, because it had such a profound impact on me personally, my business, and generations to come.
As you said, during the 90s, I guess that's when the birth of the digital age really started to take shape. I know when I was teaching and later became an administrator, I would tell my teachers that this is where we need to go, right? We have a whole generation of students who are digital natives and are operating at digital speeds, and the teachers that are teaching them are operating at analog speed. See, this is why there's a disconnect. We need to find a way to catch up and practice the digital aspect so that we can reach and teach all of our students who are coming through at this point.
No, Kevin, I agree with you. And I think through COVID and this pandemic, it really has been brought to the fore. And it not only was a necessity to really embrace the digital age, it was an equity issue. And there's no question about it. I mean, the haves and the have-nots as far as who has availability to computers, to the internet, and how does the learning go, and make sure that we go to underserved communities and make sure that those communities have every opportunity that every community has. And the way you do that is through technology, is through teacher education, is through that relationship building in any form, whether it's face-to-face, online. There's a lot of great online learning going on right now, and there's a lot of not so great online learning. And just like anything, it's a skill that needs to be taught, to be learned, and to be improved upon on a daily basis.
I'm glad you brought that up as far as the inequities regarding technology, because when people come to National University programs to sign up, and a lot of the courses they take are asynchronous, is there any support given as far as the technology the students can have access to? So if they need a device or if they need internet access, will National University provide or facilitate the acquisition of that technology for the student?
Absolutely. And as many students as we have that many different needs. And some students just say, get out of the way, I can handle it. Just, I'll access the courses, I'll access the online learning materials. Just get out of the way. I want to work with my professor and get this degree. Other folks that have stepped out for a while, or maybe haven't been involved with education or technology for a while, need a lot of help. And we're there 24/7 to help them. And if there are special requests, whether it's for computers, whether it's for how do I run this program, how do I use Collaborate or Zoom or whatever it might be, we're there for the student at that point in time. We meet the students where they need to be met, and that has been a big part of our success throughout the years.
And one more time, where can our listeners go to find out more information, not just about the Amazon Choice program, but about National University itself?
Okay, it's NU as in National University.edu is our website. And then if you're a corporation or you work for an organization that you would like to have them offer this benefit, there's a button on there that says corporate partnerships, and we'll make sure we have a personalized advisor talk to your company or to yourself about different options that are available. And if you're an Amazon employee or a dependent or a spouse of an Amazon employee, or just want to see what the program's about, it's the same website, nu.edu/Amazon, and that will tell you all about the resources that we're putting forth in our partnership with Amazon. So it's really exciting, and nothing would make me happier than having Long Islanders take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that we're offering at National University.
We would definitely like to thank our guest, Dr. Michael Cunningham, Chancellor of the National University System, for coming on our show today.
Kevin, it's been indeed a pleasure, and I appreciate all your time, and I enjoyed this, so thank you.
Once again, my name is Kevin Boston Hill, and thank you all for listening to Instruction Discussion right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.